There was a lot of stuff happening behind the scenes after the Philadelphia Eagles lost to the Jets the other day. And, I think in question right now, it's up to the players and it's up to these coaches to be held accountable. How is this team going to respond after a brutal loss like this?
We better do it. Because I've seen enough horror movies to know any weirdo wearing a mask is never friendly.
Yo, what is going on, guys? I hope everyone's trying to have a good work week. I know the Eagles lost the other day, and it's been kind of hectic as of right now. This is an opportunity now where the Eagles really have to look at themselves and see where they're at. Okay, I did my reaction video of the game this morning, or pretty much when I recorded it last night, and it was straight off of like just being mentally exhausted and really getting a good night's rest, waking up, and really refreshing myself to what this team is going to do. Okay. I think even talking about our best player in our offense, yesterday was AJ Brown. I mean, this is, first time in Eagles history where you had a Eagles wide receiver, 4 straight games with over 124 yards a game, which is absolutely amazing. Being really the best playmaker that we had for the money that he's getting. I mean, he's making plays left and right and really saving us on a lot of drives, but the Eagles offense really just couldn't get anything going. AJ Brown had some good, crazy stuff. Not crazy stuff, but there was some things said. There was a lot of stuff that happened after this game. Apparently, Nick Sirianni did not talk to the team at all. Apparently, they didn't want the coach to talk to players, the leaders, in the if the leaders council or whatever, a bunch of veteran guys, AJ Brown, Jaylen Herz, a bunch of guys, which Jaylen Herz said in his press conference the other day, talked to the whole entire team yesterday. And it wasn't one of those like mic'd up, like, Eagles on 3, 1, 2, 3. It was one of those like really stuff that they're not going to release of what was said in the locker room after the game yesterday. And probably was not bad, but motivating to get back on track. I kind of take how they lost to Washington last year. The Eagles were 7-0 last year and lost to Washington, and it was a very ugly loss. And really had the rebound. This team was not going undefeated. Okay, I think we all know that. This was a game the Eagles should have won, definitely. You're going to a tough week this week with the Miami Dolphins and a lot to go. We'll go over that later in the week. The next couple of days, I want to go over what's going on right now is the mindset of this team. And A.J. Brown said it perfectly last night. Okay, A.J. Brown said it's accountability and growth. I think those are the two most important things here. Is this team growing every week and holding each other accountable? And teams like this right now that are struggling, at least this is one loss. We're talking about one loss, guys. It's not like we've lost 3 games straight, 3-4 games straight. Then I understand that. But there's no finger pointing. Everybody is taking blame. Everyone's taking the accountability between coaches, between players. And that's really important. But I know this isn't how this team should be playing. I know this team is better. They are better than this. The players know they're better than this. The coaches know they're better than this. Okay, so AJ Brown mentioned they're not playing up to the standard. And Jaylen Herz pretty much said how is this team going to respond going into this week? This is a week by week league, guys. Week by week league. I mean, the Eagles lost to the Jets, okay? Did not play up to par. Played down to the competition because the Eagles are way better than this, okay? The 49ers lose to a backup quarterback. The Giants kept it close with the Bills last night. It's insane. It's a week-to-week league for a reason. What happened, if it's just every single week, it's always like, well, this team scored on this within the division, and it's like everybody's making it a competition. Like, if this team scores more points on this team and you score less points on the same team that they faced, you're the worst competition for that team, or you didn't play up to par like the other team did. It's just nonsense. It's a week-to-week league for a reason. It's about how you prepare every week. That's what it's about. This team probably needed to get their ass kicked. In a lot of ways, probably need to get their ass kicked. Intensely had to do it. Because if they were winning the way they were playing every week, they probably were not going to change anything. And they weren't. the excuses are done now, because when it was week 1, week 2, week 3, we are saying, oh, well, we'll give BrianJohnson some time. It's still early in the season. You're reaching almost the midpoint of the season now, where you have to face Miami this week. You have to go and play 2 divisional games, one with Washington, which is a very good team, and one against the Cowboys. Okay? You got some important games coming up. And week 6, and this is what you look like offensively, it's a joke. Okay? I'm not big on BrianJohnson. I stand by what I said yesterday, that, as much as I, said, like, oh, this guy needs to get fired, emotions were very high, okay? I will give this team the benefit of the doubt. It's not like we've lost 5 in a row. I was just really pissed off yesterday in a lot of ways. And I think everybody's pissed off right now. I think the team is pissed off. I think this is what they really needed. Okay, the Jets, congratulations to the New York Jets. They deserve the shit talk. Robert Saleh deserves the shit talk. He beat an undefeated team. They kicked our ass. They physically just beat our ass, and we deserved every second of it. Okay? So I thought that little team meeting they had between the players last night, I thought was really important. And I think that's what they really needed. You know what I mean? So I think that, will go a long way. Hopefully, I think that goes a long way. Now I want to go into, obviously, the defense. Okay. Now, obviously, I think offensively we really struggled. The defense struggled at times, no doubt. This off coverage has been horrible. We'll go to the injuries another day, because the injuries are just, I record this video in the morning, so by the time the nighttime comes, probably all the news has already come out on the injuries, but strictly just talking defense with Shawn Desa. Okay. I have to give Shawn Desa credit in the second half of this game, because the pass rush really got at it. Hassan Reddick, since he's had that cast off, and he's got 4 sacks already for the year, 4 or 5, I forgot what he has, but I think he had 2.5 sacks. Jordan Davis had a great game. Fletcher Cox had a good game. So Josh Sweat had a sack. Graham and I think Davis had a half sack each. I mean, I thought the defensive line did a fantastic job, but the back end is giving no help at all. But what I could say about this is this. Eagles gave, besides the ending to that game, besides giving up points to the Jets, the Eagles defense gave the offense opportunity after opportunity after opportunity to really get this thing going. I think Shawn Desa played a lot better than we thought. Obviously, I don't like the off coverage. When it comes to the secondary, it really has to get fixed. I didn't think the linebackers played well. I didn't think the corners played well. You're obviously losing Slay on the field, so that's a big difference. I wonder if these Eagles injuries on top of it, not from this game, but going into this game with Jalen Carter and Watkins and some of these guys, I wonder if, they overlooked the Jets this week and said, we need to get ready. Sauce Gardner wasn't playing. They were down 3 corners. Maybe they overlooked the Jets a little bit. I don't know. Maybe there were guys that could actually play this week, and they said, you know what, just sit out. We could take care of this. We got this. We have enough to get this done. And they changed their whole entire game plan. You know what I mean? Or maybe they didn't change anything. You know what I mean? So I think that's maybe a part of it. I don't know when it comes to this loss. But Desai's defense showed up. It showed up when it mattered a million times. It did. That pass rush was getting to Zach Wilson. They were making stops. The offense just could not get anything going. Not only I give Shawn Desa credit, but using these running backs, I mean, it's just insane right now. Kenneth Gainwell is going to be nothing but another Wendell Smallwood, another Josh Adams on this roster that's going to go somewhere else and do absolutely nothing, because that's what he is. He's a product behind this offensive line, even though obviously we know what's going on with Lane Johnson. We'll find out. By the time you watch this, we'll probably know about the injuries, and we'll talk about it tomorrow morning, most likely. Kenneth Gainwell used on critical third downs. I don't get this. I don't know why they're doing this. Kenneth Gainwell is just not good enough, and I've saying this a million times. People are telling me that, he's good in this rotation. There's no doubt, but you're using him in red zone. I liked how they used Swift in the passing game. He had his first receiving touchdown, which was awesome, but still, they're taking him out at specific moments, and it's pissing me off. Like that pass to Kenneth Gainwell on the right sideline. Like you actually, out of everybody on the field, okay, you actually use Kenneth Gainwell on a specific passing play, whether it was a slant or well, whatever that play was. I don't know what it was from start to finish, but to use him on a play like that, thinking he's going to jump in front of two defenders, try to catch a ball without getting it knocked out of his hands, like that's where your mind is at with your offense. With Kenneth Gainwell, I don't get what the favoritism is with this fucking guy. I really don't, because I want to talk so much shit about him because he's just not the best talent in this running back core. I know a lot of Eagles fans defend him, but hopefully this proves my point that he's. I mean, Swift didn't really have that many carries in this game at all. They strayed away from Swift for 2-3 series. Every time Swift would get the ball, run about a yard or two, and then they would just just take him out for another couple series. They would just stray away from it. If Swift didn't have a big run, they would stick away from it. Or if he does, they still went away from him. I don't get the favoritism with. I know I loved how they used Boston Scott a little bit, which is great. You know that misdirection play they did where we scored in the end zone on that drive. Where AJ Brown kind of like went in motion on the backside, and then like there was like two misdirection and motion like this, and then Boston Scott had that little pass on the left side. Like that was the most creative play that I saw the whole entire day with these running backs or with the offense in general. And we got one of those plays. One. Okay, I feel like we have an inexperienced OC right now. Really, I just do. He is. He is inexperienced. I mean, how long are we going to wait? 6 weeks in, and this is what you look like. You can't get away with this now. I mean, that's it. You lost your first game. You were 5-0, could have been 6-0. You lose your first game, and this is a wake-up call. I'm hoping to God that everybody is getting reprimanded. I hope these coaches are getting an earful. I hope Nick is doing his due diligence to, there's no mercy with this coaching staff. Your coaches set up your players and your players play. Okay, it's not fair that Howie Roseman's got to make all these moves and you're barely using corners to cover. You're barely using defensive linemen to generate pressure if your corners are playing off ball. Why are you paying these guys? What's the point of playing positional players? You might as well have undrafted rookies or just practice squad guys playing your whole defense, because why pay Bradbury? I thought Bradbury had a solid day. Thought he had a very big solid day. I thought he did good. When I think that they're playing press, they're not. Bradbury's lined up face-to-face on the line at press coverage, and then as soon as that receiver gets 2-3 yards, Bradbury is running as far away from him as possible. So they have these corners playing scared. It's just insane right now. I'm talking about, as what I talk about Kenneth Gainwell, I'm talking about specific players and how they're using them. It's not to the strength of this team right now. Couple good things I've seen from it, and really a lot of bad things I saw the other day from it. And this running back core, I mean, Rashad Penny is not even playing. Why is he here? What is the plan with him? The trade deadline's a whole different story of what they're going to go after. But if you can't use what you have right now, how am I going to be excited about a guy coming here that's going to at least solidify a position, and you can't even use him the right way? Can't put him you're going to set the guy up to fail. And I think that's definitely one thing that I can't deal with. I think the big thing, most surprising, I think he had his worst game, was Devonte Smith. He had his worst game. It was his worst game. The Eagles were on their side of the field at like the 45 or something like that. Crucial third down play, or I think it was a second down. I forgot what it was, but Devonte Smith was wide open on the Jets 30-yard line. I mean, wide open. Jaylen Herz gives a nice pass. Ball goes right through Devonte Smith's hand. We hold these receivers to a whole nother level. Okay. Now this isn't, you don't let Smith, go try to catch something, it goes right through his hands, and you just let him get off, and it's okay, don't worry about it. No, like I flipped out over that moment, really flipped out over that moment with Devonte Smith. I know he won't play like this the rest of the year. I understand that 100%. But you can't drop crucial, wide open passes. It could have been a touchdown. It might have not even been a touchdown. I mean, he had a lot of room. I mean, he had nobody around him. If he caught that ball, there was no one around him. Would have been a nice run after catch. And, little examples like this. Everybody was just out of it. Everybody, the negativity of this offense. I even see Hassan Reddick go to the sideline to talk to the offense, and the offensive guys were not even looking at him. I mean, they were just out of it. Hertz looked like he was just giving up at some point in the fourth quarter. He was just so overwhelmed. And we don't usually see that from him. And I don't think we will ever see that from him at all. It's very rare that you see that from a lot of guys, but the offense just looked like they didn't give a shit after a while. And, I saw Hassan Reddick talk to a bunch of guys, and they were just like, moping around. They just looked like they were just, nothing's working, so why should I give a shit type of attitude. And can't have that. You know what I mean? So, Devonte Smith, these receivers, we hold these guys to a high standard. We don't play around. Look what AJ Brown did in this game. AJ Brown was the star of this offense, really, at the end of the day. Jaylen Herz had some good passes towards him. He was all over the place, but we need one more than one weapon to show us what's going on. You had 3 corners out for the Jets in this game, DJ Reed and Sauce Gardner, and you had a lot of guys. You had 3 starting corners out, and you could do nothing. Couldn't do a damn thing. BrianJohnson had no game plan going into this thing. It's upsetting. It really is. It's like this game should have never went the way it did. I mean, you went scoreless. Couldn't get a rhythm with Jaylen Herz at all. Couldn't get him in rhythm. You can't. You can't even, as BrianJohnson, you can't even prioritize like a fast-paced offense, 2-minute offense. Like, how are you supposed to do 2-minute offense, or if you need this team, not even one push in this game, because we couldn't even get 3rd and short. We couldn't get 2nd and short in this game. Obviously it has to do a lot with Lane Johnson being out, and there was, the Jets were prioritizing their pressure on that side, no doubt, taking advantage of that side to get Jaylen Herz. From that side. So it was a long day, but Devonte Smith's definitely got to catch those, man. It's 100%. It's got to happen. And we talked about Jaylen Herz in this game. I mean, that last drive, man. I mean, there's a lot of mistakes. Okay, he threw 3 picks. I think 2 of those picks weren't his fault. Okay, at least the turnovers, at least for the fumbles. Swift fumbled, Goddard fumbled. And then that last play, dude, I mean, there's a minute 40-something on the clock, whatever it is. I mean, you got to either take the sack or you have to just dial up something else, because I don't know what that play was where 2 guys were sitting next to a receiver and Hertz throws it. I mean, just panic throw. It's a panic throw. I mean, it's common sense. There's two guys sitting next to a receiver wide open. I mean, not even wide open. And he throws this ball on a 3rd down. I mean, run the ball. I mean, throw a short pass to somebody. I mean, I don't know. I mean, he just gunned that ball, and it got picked off, and it just gave them momentum at that point. It did, because that was it. They got the pick, and then they ran one play and scored a touchdown, and the Eagles literally gave up. I mean, it was done. I mean, the game was done at that point. That last play made no sense. Sirianni just should have. I don't know. I mean, Hertz should have took. You don't want to take a sack. I understand he doesn't want to just take a sack. He wants to chuck it somewhere and try to get something. But you have to keep that clock rolling. That clock has got to keep rolling. I don't know how many timeouts. I don't know how many timeouts they had. Okay, I don't know. The Jets had timeouts. If they didn't have timeouts at that point, then that clock would have kept rolling. And all you had to do is get 1 first down or get close to it. All you had to do is get 1 first down, really. And the game was over. The game was over at the end. Like, that last play. Like, that was the big problem that I had with him, throwing an unnecessary throw. And usually Jaylen Herz is very smart, and being, I think Jaylen Herz is smart at times and being accurate and placing the ball in a safe area. We've never really seen him throw picks like this at all. Like I said, 2 of them were really, I would say 2 of them are really not on him. But that last one sure was, and, ended the game. I can't put the game on Jaylen Herz as, obviously there's blame. There's so much blame to go around. It's not just Jaylen Herz. It's so much more. You're put into an offense. You're told to do a specific play, and, you make the decision. It's on the players. It's on the coaches. It's on the defense at times. The defense, like I said, showed up in the second half with the pressure, but the secondary was just god-awful at times. I mean, you can't give up big plays easily. I don't know. I don't get it. So really prioritizing what the Eagles have to do this week. I mean, they have to take a good look in the mirror. I think this is one of those games going into Miami this week where, the Eagles are going to be pissed off playing at home. You're going to be playing at home. Kelly Green jerseys, Kelly Green uniforms are coming in this week. Lot on the line. You're playing in front of a lot of historical players that are probably going to be at this game that have worn these jerseys, there's a lot going into this game this week. And we're going to find out how this team is going to respond. Are they going to fight? And look, if they fight against Miami and they lose a close one, then at least I know that there's something there. If they totally get blown out and they look like they just gave up and BrianJohnson's play calling's the same and these corners are just playing too far off the ball and they're getting wrecked, I don't know. Okay. This is going to be a game where you play off-ball coverage, no doubt, in this game because of Tyreek Hill being in there. But how are they going to respond? Like I've said for the third millionth time as it is. We're gonna find out. I know the players are pissed off. I know the coaching staff. I know I hoping they call a good game this week. This was a wake up call that they need to make changes to their offense and their defense. I mean, at this point, like if BrianJohnson doesn't get anything done, they might have to hire some guys to help him with the offense. I don't know. I might have to hire some other offensive assistants or something because this is 6 weeks. This is what you look like offensively. You can't even prioritize and you have no time management. You don't even know who you're trying to target. You're targeting the most random people on certain plays and you're using specific players on bad downs. Why are you using some of your weakest players on? I mean, I just don't get it. I really don't. Very upset with BrianJohnson. I'm not happy with him right now. I'm very upset over the fact that he's got literally a top 3 roster offensively in his fucking grip, and he doesn't know how to use it. And I think that's been the most disappointing thing. Shawn Desa has his issues, but he's got a good defensive line, and the guy's got pressure in the second half. And I think Shawn Desai did as much as he possibly could in that second half. The offense had literally 5-6 opportunities to score points and couldn't get it done. Jake Elliott couldn't even kick a field goal to get up a few points. The negativity of how the offense was playing was affecting just everything and everyone. And that's it. So, we can talk about this game more this week, but I'm pretty much done after today. Like I'm already moved on. Like it's a new week, it's a new year. We need to figure out a lot more things. It's week 6. We have a week going into week 7 now. It's a lot of weeks of football left. We got a lot more weeks of football left. This is just going to be a wound that everyone's going to remember. We might look back at this and laugh at it, but hoping we do. Hoping we don't look like this the whole entire year, but, how they're going to respond, we'll find out. Let me know in the comment section below what you guys think. You think they're going to kind of step up? Do you think the players are pissed off? Do you think we're going to see a different team this week? And, we'll find out what's going on with the injuries on another video. I'll do a separate video on all of that and what's going on. So you guys have a great day. Make sure if you guys haven't subscribed to the channel, like the stream, the video. Sorry, I'm all over the place. It's the next morning. I get it. You guys have a great day. I'll see you guys on the next one. Chicks about false. Peace out, guys. Peace.